Hello, how is everyone doing? Welcome to the next in our office hours kind of vibe. In these videos, I do some writing, and whenever any of you have any questions, you can just pop in and ask, like, not just about what I'm doing, like about anything. You can pop in, ask your questions. I will answer, help you out live. But for those who just want like a chill writing stream, there's also that as well. There are a few questions that have been left as comments on last week's video. So if you're watching this on repeat, feel free to ask your questions in the comments and I'll answer them next week. So I'll go through the questions from last week's video, and then if anyone has any more questions, feel free to ask. I'll do my best to help you out, or just jump in through the stream. If not, I'll then start writing. Hello, Nikki, Eurasia, Copesta. How are you all doing? Yeah, so let me load up. So we have um so Guy was asked said that so let me So this first question, I'm just going to write it here so you can all see it while I'm doing this. So their question was, I wonder when you do brainstorming versus, for example, writing prose, if you change the temperature of the model and you also use the presence penalty factor, which could maybe be between, whatever's. So the short answer is I very rarely play with anything other than temperature. I will have a higher temperature for creative writing, a lower temperature for brainstorming. Most of the time, like 90% of the time, I just use the defaults on Novelcrafter. Let's take a look at like some of the stuff so if we look at my like prompts or even just here, in the workshop chat, like you can see things like um oh, like a lot of them, these are just the default settings. We'll go into the copy. Yeah, I mean, I just leave everything as what OpenRouter has. Scene beat completion. Yeah. Temperature of 1.1. There's like a bit of a frequency penalty and a presence penalty, but that's to kind of try and stop AI-isms. But models, especially like Claude, are really like unaffected by changing things. Like the only time I've ever changed stuff with a prompt was when I did my brutal drunk honest, which is already in the document. And I have a top K. Um, and like genuinely, this was so long ago. I can't remember why I put that in there. So I think that says it all. Um, for the stuff that we're doing, like I'd honestly say go on and it also depends so much on models. So whether you're on like you're using Mistral or Gemini and everything, like it really changes what parameters you use and what parameters they even make available. So all I can really advise is like to go on OpenRouter, see what their baseline is, and then use that as a guide, higher and lower, see what changes. Um, I asked the team this as well, and Corey says that he tends to not touch presence penalty, and Claude seems to be really immune to parameters versus GPT. Like GPT, like if you click refresh, it will come up with new, like it'll have a different answer, whereas Claude often has very similar things. And I found that actually with my experience, like changing stuff, like it changes the answers, but like the prose stays like very similar in like the flow of it. I hope that helps, kind of answers your question. And then Big Hearted says, I'd love to have a better understanding about references in the codex and what the difference is when one reference is the parent of the other versus the other way around. So the way that these work, like, so I have like the rebellion, and in there I have members of the rebellion nested within it. So that means whenever rebellion is mentioned in like chat or in a beat, um, all the rebels will get brought up as codex entries, but it's only a one-way relationship. So if I type in Kira, rebellion doesn't get brought in. So it's more like a, I guess, like nesting references. It's more like kind of a linked reference. So if you link things, they get brought up, but it's because it's only one way. You can see when your entry is getting brought up by stuff. So like if I go into Kira, you can see that she's brought up in if I type in characters or rebellion, but her voice sheet is brought up when I mention her, but not vice versa. Like, so just I hope hopefully that makes sense. So usually I would nest references if I wanted them to be brought up at the same time. So like the Rathskeller might always have its owner brought up in there, so you just kind of members of staff that are around. That could be a use for it, or like voice sheets and the like. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. If anyone else coming into the office hours has questions, let me know. If not, I'll have a little. I'll now start talking about the plan of action for today. So, my plan. We finished chapter 8 last session. My plan is to go over the summaries of chapters 1 to 8. I've used AI to like summarize them, but often the stuff that it brings up might not be what I need, or it might misinterpret things. And I just want to kind of like, now we've got 8 chapters, I want to go in, make sure they're exactly what I want. And then it means that I can kind of take that and, go ahead and just make sure things are all right. Yeah. And then I'll um, plan out chapter 9. Have a think about the conversation that I want to happen, the aftermath, kind of the significance of the stuff that happened in the previous chapters, plan out the beats. If we have time, start writing. We'll see how things go. Last week we did a lot of editing on chapter 8, so I'm quite happy to begin. I'll put some music on, just have a little vibe with you all. Yeah. How are you all doing? What projects are you working on this week? Focus right. Okay. Oh, hello, SSN. Okay, let's go. So chapter 1. Um, don't need that. Delilah discovers I might go while fixing broken. No, Delilah discovers sabotage in the power grid of Nova. Delilah's the repairs clash with the investigation of the incident by Perrin Astor and by about what she saw. Oh, okay. Emery's investigating serial fiction. So my plan for NaNoWriMo is to work on my Little Red, which is serial fiction. 'Cause I've just not got around to it yet. So yeah, serial fiction looks so much fun. I think it's like, yeah, it harks back to fan fiction days. Like, did any of you write fan fiction? Um, like I love fan fiction. It's like one of my favorite. Like, I read more fan fiction than books. Let's be real. Um, so serial fiction is like very much continuing on from that. So yeah, and that sounds so cool. Let me know how it goes, and yeah. Um, so serial fiction is like, imagine like webcomics where like a chapter a week is released, and it's kind of like, if a book is a movie, then serial fiction is a TV show, and there's like episodes each week, um, and it kind of has like mini series arcs and different things like that. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's, so everybody's saying it's, yeah, it's what you what you know. So yeah, no, why not try it? Like, it does sound really fun. Like, I'm kind of, I mean, I've not touched it in a bit, but let's have a look. So I'm actually going to be streaming this all of November. I've not touched it in ages. Um, but I've started like each like I've got episodes and then chapters within the episodes that I'm kind of working on. Um, I've got like episode lists and everything. I'm like, it's been like, well, January was the last time I started work. I was working on this, but um, yeah, I think serialized fiction is so much fun. I can change the label for that. I think that's been drunk Clauded. Um, oh, it's PDAC with two C's. What genre are you thinking of writing, Emery? Okay, again, don't need to know that she's a mechanic. Uh, Delilah returns to Nicodemus's workshop. Um, Overhearing a conversation about rebel activity. When they realize she is there, they stop talking. Overhearing a conversation between Nicodemus, her. Research is telling me that romance. Yeah, I think, yeah, romance is very much. I guess then again, that kind of makes sense given like a lot of fan fiction is romance orientated or romance adjacent orientated. Um, so that doesn't surprise me. Um, but I guess like you can put in within that, you can put in the things that you love, kind of tied in, and kind of and stuff. I lost that train of thought. When they realize she's there, they stop talking. Delilah tries to dispose of the earring in the forge. Um, oh, maybe she does. He repaired radio. So SSN asks, also Emery, how do you post it? Is there a site like AO3 or how do you get readers? I don't think you can. I can manage a steady update writing schedule, but it'd be fun to read. So from what I know, so like Kindle Vella is for serialized fiction, and there's other sites out there like AO3, but for serialized fiction. There are some that will pay you, or like you apply and they'll like support you with writing it. A lot of people I think write a lot of it in advance and then publish. Angie, I think on Bite Size Booksmith has done some videos on it. I know her server is talking about it a lot as well, which I think is what where Emery is. But it does look like a lot of fun, and I think people who read that kind of fiction like are very like on the ball. Like a lot of the times it's like a new chapter a day, and people read it like on the way to work and things like that. Um, yeah, so a lot of people do it on Patreon as well. I would love to publish on Vella, but they only let Americans do that. So I'll have to wait for Vella to become available to all authors. Um, Delilah navigating. She I mean, like so much you can just like reduce these by if you like edit them. So Copesta says Royal Road and Scribble Hub are popular for serialized lit RPG, isekai, and anime genres. Oh, nice. I need to read like or like look up lit RPG because like it's mentioned so much, and like I love like Dungeons and Dragons and all that kind of stuff. Like I play regularly, so it'd be interesting to see what the genre is like for writing. Mm. And I have some caffeine. Okay. Um, Oh, SSN is asking for some recommendations um on serial fiction. So if anyone in the comments also wants to recommend some serial fiction, is there any genre in particular that you're wanting to read, SSN? Thank you. Um, Yeah, I'm so glad I'm redoing these summaries because like I often do it like with AI just to get something there, but I'm like, oh God, there's so many things that like are not quite right and could impact in my prompts. Um, SSN says that they lean towards mystery or romance, but honestly, as long as it's interesting, you'll read anything. Okay, amazing. Yeah, guys, everyone, bring your recommendations. Mystery or romance. I'm sure Emery knows many. And two others. Um, over Bezos's. Okay, Emery, I'm glad you're. I am also the same. There is so much like original fiction I want to read, but I don't have the energy to invest in new worlds, and I feel really bad as an author. I'm just exhausted at the end of the day, and if I do read, I don't want to have to invest in new characters. And hello, SF, how are you doing? Do you have any questions regarding Novelcrafter? To Oh, Sim Imagine builds. Oh, amazing. See, I when everyone has different YouTube usernames to their Discord, I forget who people are, and then it's like, yeah. Um. Oh, well, nice to have you here, writing and vibing. As always. Copesta says, "Yeah, same here. Too busy writing fiction to read anything else." I think it's tragic because like I as a kid, like at a teen, like early teens, I used to love reading. I would devour books, and then I got to like I don't know, like 16 to 18, like kind of like when it was that whole like prepare for university vibe, and I I forget. I just like lost my love of reading, and it was really hard to get back into um afterwards. Um I think maybe because I was reading so much academically, like both in terms of like hardcore science and like books for um like literature classes. So yeah, so I'm trying. But then I think also I don't know if you guys have this issue, but the more I write and learn about writing, the more then I unintentionally notice things when I'm reading fiction, and you're kind of like it ruins the escapism because then you start thinking about writing as a skill. Okay, SSN says that they try and read a chapter of something every night to unwind and disconnect from my own writing. Otherwise, I stay up all night in my head with my own stuff. Oh, well, I mean, well, at the moment I've been playing Baldur's Gate at night, but I, as I go to sleep, I will often play scenes in my head, and I use that as my brainstorming time for the next day. Um, so that's kind of like the complete opposite. Although I can fall asleep fairly quickly these days, so that helps. Especially now it's getting darker. My body just like it wants to go to sleep at the same time each day. Uh, Delilah with more questions. Okay. Okay, this needs to be, let's try summarizing it with a different model. Oh my god. Hmm. Perenasta turns up at Nico. Stella says that she's been hooked on fan fiction for most of the year. I tried to read published books, but it's so hard to invest in new storylines and characters when I can just jump into a world I already know. That is exactly the same for me. Um, yeah, that is exactly why I read so much fan fiction. And like even as an author, I love fan fiction. Like if people wrote fan fiction of my stuff, I would be like so flattered. Um, so you know, yeah, I mean, like I think it's such a good way for people to start writing and like get their ideas on paper and like be inspired and like learn the fundamentals of crafting. I think it's just, it's so cool. And like people have been doing fan fiction for like generations, like West Side Story, Romeo and Juliet fan fiction. Like Romeo and Juliet is probably based on some folklore as well. Like everything is, it's all based on stuff in the end. Paranas explains why I'm 1,000 episodes into One Piece anime. Wow, that is dedication. That is dedication. Um, what do they talk about? I need to check this. To be fair, I do 2 hours a week on this story, so um there is an explosion. Okay. Hi, hey, how are you doing? Are you enjoying your holiday, Joe? At the moment, I'm just sorting out my summaries of this. Delilah and Nicodemus arrive at the Hydro Gardens to see a large part has been destroyed in an explosion. They assess the damage. Whilst officers. Yeah, it's so nice to have you here. Like Wednesdays, yeah, you're not normally here on the Wednesdays, just the Saturdays. So yeah, you can vibe. Are you gonna do some writing? Are you gonna take chance on your day off to do some writing? It's still fairly early for you, isn't it? It's like proper morning. Delilah and Nicodemus arrive at the Hydra Gardens to see a large part has been destroyed in an explosion. They assess the damage while officers gather up survivors and witnesses. One man is arrested, protesting his innocence. Innocence. In the process of rescuing her, the guards find a detonator. It's 8:30 here, and heck yeah, 1 week of writing vacation fun times. Oh my god, nice. What are you writing, Joe? Go on, tell us. Show and tell. Um. Okay, I'm slowly getting there. I didn't realize rewriting these summaries would take this much time. I know I've been talking about other stuff, but oh, sneaks out. Your Joe says that she's working on a fluke of an idea for a one-off romance novel. Oh, nice. Go on. Tell us more about this fluke of an idea. I misread it as flute of an idea before. Okay, so Jay Fedbear asks, what is drunk Clauded? So no, so yeah, Google's not gonna know. So drunk Claude is a prompt that the Novelcrafter team developed that we worked on. You can find it in the document that's linked in this video under one of these. Was it that one? Or I think it's, yeah, if you go to last week's video, there's a Drunk Claude version. You can copy that in. It's based on the premise that let me. It's based on the premise that when developing UI for a website, get someone drunk to test it out, and they if they can work out how to get through the system, then it's clear enough for like normal users to use. Drunk people are also brutally honest. And so kind of combining those two together, we kind of we primed the AI to be drunk and then gave parameters and things that we wanted it to critique a scene on. And so it's it goes through a scene that you give as context and critiques on various things. So in my novel, so I've got drunk Claude in number 2, drunk Claude in number 1, and that's basically how many passes have I had the drunk Claude analyze my story. So like here, um, so it then analyzes the story and gives hints on what you can improve on. Um, and like 90% of the time, I agree with what it's saying. It also has absolutely none of the context of the codex. It has just what you see in the summaries and what's in that chapter. So it also helps in terms of clarity and the AI not doing positive bias and like positive confirmation. So it means that in your scene, you kind of have to make sure things are explained. It's working well so far. Like sometimes it doesn't have enough context, which is another reason that I want to sort out these summaries to kind of make sure it has the context it needs. Yeah, Van Damme drunk dancing and fighting sounds awesome. Yeah, exactly. Drunk beta readers. Well, they might not be if they forget what they've read. So tipsy beta readers. Um, just do a drunk reading of your story, like a drunk reenactment. I don't know if any of you guys ever did that. Like, we've done dramatic drunk reenactments of books before. Like in uni days, so like ages ago. But yeah, returning home to Lance was as if uh something was being searched for. Delilah asks for his help. Kira, but Creel says she has brought this on herself and they can't afford the attention. Delilah refuses to give up, leaving the flat. She comes face to face with Stella says, I've had Drunk Claude give me specific suggestions for ideas based off the feedback he gives me. Gotta say, Drunk Claude is pretty creative when he wants to be. Oh my god, yeah. And like, if you get him to like rewrite scenes as well, or like rewrite bits of passages, that also does really well. It works better for my novel because the protagonist swears a lot. Sometimes he'll just like throw in swears. You can also like, we call it Drunk Claude because it's I use Claude Sonnet exclusively with this prompt. But you can like, I know there are some that have like got an American version, some that, you know, we tried a French version once that was so much cheese and wine. Yeah, he's really good. Yeah, really good at coming up with ideas, like just getting things going and like asking, you know, and if you give him some more like drinks or food, he loves you. Worse for wear? Worse for, I think worse for wear. Oh, there was a moment actually. I think was it in this chapter. Um, I was asking for ways to improve the chapter, and then I was like, "Can you rewrite a bit to regard to give Delilah claustrophobia in the tunnels?" And so then it rewrote the scene, incorporating these bits in at like the right moments. And I thought that was so cool. So you can, yeah, has a lot more like personality than just like using the general purpose prompts. If you want that, of course. She overhears a conversation between Gaius and she knows that Delilah learns that Kira has not yet divulged any information, but that Gaius's men when the two leave the office, Delilah sneaks in through the vent, hoping for information about her sister. Instead, she finds okay. So we've got this. So I can now tick off. Go over the chapter summaries. Okay, so I want to plan out chapter 9, the conversation in the aftermath. Delilah has nowhere to go and very little to lose, but she also doesn't trust Perrin in his offer of help. Okay. So I'm going to, for a bigger interface. How does the previous chapter end? Um, what are the dogs? What are basically in every chapter, Perrin is having a new dog is accompanying Perrin. Well, there's 4 dogs. I mean, to be honest, this should be in the main characters. Like, come on. These are all my tags for different areas. So like BTS is behind the scenes, MC main characters, UC Undercity, etc. SF argues with him about topics. Brutus, okay. Still says, I threaten to withhold his drinks. Yeah. Well, I do the opposite. I do positive affirmation. I'm like, if you help me, I will give you more, rather than being like, I'm holding this hostage until you answer me. But I wonder if that would change his answer. The ends always justify the means. Then the dog licks her face and she makes a sound. Looking. Paranasta. Uh, Delilah Fishner. She only realizes when she has left the room. I write really detailed beats. I'm kind of just like now just writing out this scene. It's fine. I tend to do that. My These are my ramble beats. She only realizes when she left the room that she still has the paper in her hand. She shoves it in a pocket. Yeah, I mean, like, if you're doing, I mean, this is what, 300 at the moment. Yeah. And to be honest, like, there's nothing wrong with long beats. Like, everyone has different styles. Like, I am very much not a pantser. Or at least, like, I guess this is kind of pantsing, but not, like, I like having everything there. So, um, Perrin wants more questions, Delilah, about. So if I was writing like without AI, I would probably do this still anyway, and then I would start turning it into prose. So it's kind of very similar to what I do. They want together. Um, and Delilah is initially. I'm a full-on pantser, but once I know my scene, I know it. Yeah, I like have yeah. I don't know if you about you, but you have like moments in your head and you can like see it vividly. And like I mean, at the moment, I have this like idea of like Perrin like leading Delilah through the corridors with like I don't know, like a hand on the small of her back, And she's just like shitting herself, thinking, "Oh my god, am I going to get arrested? Like, is he going to take me to the guards?" And then he takes her like somewhere that's like not the guards, and she's just like, "Okay, what's going on?" Perrin was. Uh, Delilah. Delilah goes to leave. She claims she'll help. Um, okay, so I've got this now. My little summary. Uh, yeah, my 400 word summary. I know what I want. So, well, I've got a little moment. Uh, Oh, sorry, I've just been quiet then for a few minutes. I'm kind of imagining in my head, I've got this like canon that Perrin had 7 dogs originally, but something happened to them, and like I don't know what exactly, but given the culture, I'm betting that meat is a very rare commodity in Nova Bezos because they don't have the land to grow food for livestock. So it's either hunted or it's like rodents or whatever. And I think someone stole his dog for food, which is tragic. Not only did he lose his wife, he's lost 3 dogs. Um, Once upon a time, Perrin was going to be a villain, but I mean, who can be a villain when you've got so many lovely puppers? Um, so I want something at the end of the chapter. I know that there is something with like obviously her mother there. I also want something at the end of this chapter to be relating to the next scene where she goes to the gladiator arena to try and rescue Kira. I or like see her. I want some kind of tie to Kira. I'm not sure what yet, so I'll have to have a think. Jesse asks, I haven't used Novelcrafter in the past few months. How is it doing with the latest updates to AI? I mean, personally, I am in love with it more than ever. Sonnet 3.5, especially, mwah, brilliant with writing. And like you can really do a lot with it. In terms of features, if you go on the Discord, there is a lot of things. Let me open up. I mean, we've had a fair few updates in the last few months. But if you go, let me. That should work. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's like a lot of things now. We've got archiving, updates with chat so that it better uses the context. We now have prompt previews as well, so you can like preview all of your like prompts before you send them. Um, Filtering. So a lot of fun things. Uh, Something I'm not fully happy with at the end. I don't know what yet. And so I guess I can just wait. Whoa. Okay. Right. Um. Um. But let me make this one thing clear. Anything I don't approve, then you're done for. Turns out, Mrs. Keybits. Okay. Cower now and flee. You must be a liar. Mortals can't acquire Molly. Hermes gave it to you, didn't he? Oh. Okay, scene beat. Looking around for something to claim she is repairing. Okay. I now need to go to the previous chapter. Copy scene prose. Go into my snippets. My sample chapter. There are other roads to the soul. Okay. So now I'm going to do my kit bashing. So kit bashing is kind of like it's the terms taken from like the model community where they would bash together different bits of kit. And it's essentially the same. You generate multiple versions of AI prose or your own writing, and you smoosh them together in the order that makes everything best. So yeah, let's give this a go. So I have a few prompts that I like to do. One is a adapted version of a prompt that Space has shared on the Discord. One is based on my own prose, so based on the chapter for the sample chapter. Kate's voice. One thing I do find is that there isn't often like this prompt's doing better, but a lot of the paragraphs are the same length, and that kind of annoys me. Like, I don't like when everything is too uniform. Nah, Perrin's amused, lol. That's probably in the next. Okay. I'm now using St. John Luke's Show Don't Tell prompt. which is probably shared somewhere in the document. If not, you can go on the Discord and grab it. Cersei's instructions were clear. Every time I dare to close my eyes, I no longer dream. Only nightmares of those who've died. Nothing's what it seems. She inhaled shot. I mean, you can see how many, like, half a sentence I'm doing from different things. All I hear is I keep thinking of the infant from that night. I keep thinking of the infant from that night. The squeak escaped before she could stop it. Although to be fair, that might come in useful later. Oh my glitter. Okay. Um. Um. um uh, desperately Ali. Oh, so I have the slow cooker on today because it's stream day, and I've got a pork joint in there, and like it's seasoned with like sugar and paprika and cinnamon and salt, and it smells so nice. But the kitchen is directly below me, and I can just smell it all the time, and it's making me really hungry. But we're gonna have like pulled pork sandwiches with apple and sage jelly and like salad stuff, the boring stuff with it. I'm sorry, Corey, I can't help it. It's what, almost your lunchtime as well. It's like it's food time, right? Uh, 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 she. One of the most annoying things about AIisms, it's like when it says like her voice or her mind. No, she did it. Her body parts are not autonomous. Um, Em- oh my god, how many pizzas have I tempted you into having? I didn't even know that, Emery. Yeah, I used to talk about pizza a lot on stream, but it was because I stream on a Saturday just before we eat dinner, and so like and Saturdays are takeout nights, like when possible. So, and like pizzas are one of the few like takeouts you can get where like things are definitely gluten free. So, like if they are, like a lot of the times like you don't know if there's like gluten in stuff. So it's just and they're good, they're tasty. It's like a sandwich but open, and so it's posh, right? Sorry, I'm probably not helping your pizza budget right now. Oh, hello, Jen. Popping in on a quick break. The videos have like been super helpful. Thank you so much for posting. Oh, you're really welcome. Like that's my job. I'm trying to make things like as helpful as possible. So let me know if there's anything more that you'd like me to cover. And like we are, we're really trying to get out content that gives people value and like helps you try out new things in Novelcrafter. Um, like So yeah, if there's anything more that you want us to cover, let us know. But I'm so happy you're spending your break with us. I'm currently writing chapter 9, yeah, of um currently writing chapter 9. And now saves them the pain. I think she'd be calling him Asta. I need to. This can't go on. I must get to see Penelope and Telemachus. So if we must, Hey gang, left field question here. Are the OpenAI O1 models being added to the system prompts? And what difference between the O1 and O1? So I think, so if you go for OpenAI O1, that is always the most recent version. The and then there'll be other versions based on past things. Um, I am guessing that. I mean, let's have a look. I know they've been added to Novelcrafter. I'm uh so I'm guessing they're not going to be added to the system prompts themselves. So, but you can always clone the system prompt. O1 and O1 Mini are both like really expensive. Like more than Opus kind of expensive. Like they're fun to use. But yeah, you would have to clone the prompt and add it yourself, which is fairly simple. Like if you go into like edit prompts, here's my clone. I've already got them here. I've left everything blank. Just popped it in here. But yeah, the different versions are just they keep the last couple of versions if you want to like go back if you don't like whatever the default update is. Don't you miss me more than you know? Um, um, oh, you're welcome. Oh, good. I'm glad. Yeah, that's how you do it. But yeah, yeah. So it's I've heard good things like about it. So, O1 Mini, from what the team have looked into, is good at like the more analytic stuff. But if you want something that's creative, you have to go for O1 proper. Um, so like if you want something to like apply the information. My real wife knows I'm not scared of the water. And my real wife knows I don't have a daughter. But while you were so focused on turning my men into snacks, you didn't notice that your friends got snatched. We are a different beast now. We are the ones who feast now. You thus deceased, suffering from you. It's piercing, not part of my AIsms codex. I absolutely cannot believe that. Uh, On the run from Poseidon, we found a ship with no crew. I realized nearby there were sirens, sinking sailors to their dooms. You pretended to be my wife, so I just played along. More of us deceased, 'cause we will take more suffering from you. Oh, interesting. You brought back that, although she destroyed it, I think. Why, so you can kill the next group of islets in this part of the sea? Nah, you wouldn't have saved me. I made a mistake like this. It almost cost my life. I can't take more risks of not seeing my wife. Hi, just catching up. What did I miss? So we answered some questions, Pruspa. And then we started off by, well, so I made a plan of action. I hand I took the AI generated summaries of each chapter, so chapters 1 to 8, and rewrote them to make sure that everything was there, just to kind of like keep things consistent. And then I planned out chapter 9. We made like a 500-word summary of the scene, and then now we're just generating some prose, getting our first draft done. Whoa, whoa, oh. Oh, and we had a lot of talk about serialized fiction and fan fiction and a few other things. Oh, you're welcome. What are you doing today? Are you writing while here? Are you just like popping in for a little bit of a chat? How are things going? Jen has a quick question. Where might I go to explore the additional options aside from? Okay, so these are all different prompts I've collected from people on the Discord or various places. But if you go into prompts, text replacement, so there are the 3 system ones, and then you can add more. So let me. This is the show don't tell one I use. Um, um, there are what other ones do I like using? So this is like an edit rephrase one where you have the square brackets. Um, Pruspa says, I'm just starting in Novelcrafter, filling up my codex and experimenting with custom prompts, trying to find my personal methodology. Yeah. I think what I found best for me was work like trying to define how I write without AI and then using AI to kind of help bridge the gaps. Like a lot of the time I write out of sync. Like I'll write bits of scenes I know and then work backwards and stuff. And so I think that's, so like I use AI in that way. If you find that you love writing dialogue, but you hate writing all the bits in between, you can always put the dialogue in a beat and get the AI to write the prose around it. Or alternatively, you can take descriptions and get the AI to make it more concise. Okay, I think my mic was going a little bit crazy then. So Corey, did I catch it before it went off? And you're very welcome. Yeah, it went crazy for me for the music, and I was like, "Wow, this one's great." Whoa, there! It kind of like slows down the prose and kind of like adds more stuff. You'd have done the same. There. Hopefully, it wasn't going crazy for too long. But there you go. There's three of the prompts I use the most for text replacements. Uh, no, I'm back on the Focusrite. Okay. Menu right. Oh, let me reset. Oh, you're very welcome, Jen. How's this now? And hunger is so heavy. This amazing. The god of the sun, don't know where it's from. Could you walk through how you take that chunk that represents the So yeah, what you do is you copy and paste that the prompt, and then you want to go on to new, and then create from clipboard, and it'll in the prompt interface. There's a if someone could link it, there is a once I can do it. Don't be lazy, Kate. Here is a link on how to share prompts. I mean, you'll receive the link before you hear that I've sent you it, so you know. Much longer to. You're real like us. I'm just a man. Oh, amazing. You're welcome. Who do you think you'll send? Fast? it is a damsel in distress, hiding away where only I can undress her. It's all the same once I apply all the pressure. Me, Odysseus, if I were to make you choose the lives of your men and crew or your own, why do I think they'd lose? Okay, guys. Oh my god, what is going on? Oh, okay, that was panicking. But also, okay, guys. If any of you have any interest in Greek mythology, Epic the Musical, amazing. It's been my soundtrack for like the last 50 Wednesdays. Um, oh. Bum, 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 bum. The Minotaur, even Cerberus, sign. Fate is scary, but I'm gonna be legendary. There are strangers in our halls, Trying to win the heart of my mom, but she is standing tall. Um, Actually, I've just noticed Gemini seems to be the only one that actually has kind of consistently gone for Asta afterwards. I suppose this one has as well, but this prompt hasn't gone. It's gone for Perrin. Interesting. Life and fate are scary, but I wanna be legendary. Um, Perrin's steps faltered for a moment. Man, then fight, little man, fight. When you and I are through, teach you all the lessons your daddy never could. Doesn't give out presents just for being good. So fight, little wolf, fight. Little wolf, die. Fight or flight, little wolf, fly. To try. So I suggest you fight back. Uppercut him now. How did I do? I don't expect those who impose their will. See plenty enough to truly understand this kind of filth. Let's teach this dog a lesson in front of all his friends. You're harsh than all these men combined. Okay. He was a lot like you. And then we flew apart. So you can also stop prompts if like it starts going off the track, but maybe I'll try Gemini again. I liked some of the Gemini. Oh, 15 minutes. And then, well, I mean, I still have to wait for Sam to get home, but Athena. I mean, I'm asking for 500 words, and like a lot of this I won't use, like, but sometimes it's interesting to see how it goes. If not his friend, then mine. Why is it? Old friend. Let's see where you've been. Don't really like that. Although that does lead nicely in. I will consider that. Don't quite work, but what's that, Corey? Oh, hat. My dear, you're mine, you're mine. Well, Corey, don't send messages in Slack then that are about Restream when when I'm there. I get a pop up and I'm like, why is Corey talking about my stream? But fear not, I bring no pain. I mean, good excuse. I mean, Ah. Hold your tongue now, it sounds my friend. Tell your lover that a broken heart can mend. If you want more bloodshed, then set him free. To go back to his homestead, he'll make everybody bleed. Was this a warning? Try harder. Okay. Okay, come on. I will generate these. I will probably won't have time to kit bash, but I'll have time to generate. And so then next week we can continue chapter 9. I definitely need to tidy this up a little bit. Have you guys all had a productive day? Have you managed to get the writing that you wanted done? Yeah, it's fine. We can work with this. Does anyone have any final questions before we go? That's I guess what I might ask first, and then um, yeah, I mean anything else? Any questions? If you have any questions that you'd like me to address on next week's office hours as well, you could leave a comment or message me or whatever. I'll see them and I can show you live how to answer them. Did anyone find I've changed the color of my mouse to black. I don't know if that's more clear as well for when I'm clicking on stuff. It'd be good to know. I mean, I'm kind of used to it now, but yeah. Oh, you're very welcome, guys. It's always nice to have you here. Yeah, yeah, it's a few minutes early, but why not? If no one has any questions, I'm gonna head off now. Have an amazing week, and I'll see you guys on Saturday, sorry, where we might be talking about why AI is a little bit pants at plotting. Says little spoiler for you all. Speak to you soon. Bye. Oh yeah, sure, Circus. I can. I'll. We'll have a look at the matrix and heat map. There is a video already on that.